Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another Red Reveals. So, just arriving at my house this weekend was Wasp for Marvel Champions, part of my Team Covenant subscription. And I know this has arrived in a lot of other places. I've actually seen people posting videos of play with Wasp already, but I've tried to avoid all of that so I could kind of get a fresh impression of Wasp as it landed here for me to open the pack. So that's what we're going to do right now is we're going to open up Wasp and see what's in here. So let's see if I can get this little plastic clamshell going there. It's got that really weird. I actually took the sticker off already, the one that kind of binds the whole thing together. And we'll pop it open so we got our little plastic set of cards. And what's our poster here? Let's pull out the poster. What's our Wasp poster look like? Ooh, amazingly, it looks like the front of the box. So let's see here. It talks about team up keyword, foldable card, piercing, changing forms. Let's see here. What happens when a basic thwart power or thwart action divides threat removal among schemes? Each scheme is considered to have been thwarted. In these instances, follow the standard rules for thwarting schemes. All right, and then there's what happens when it's divided amongst enemies. Each enemy is considered to have been attacked. In these instances, follow the standard rules for attacking enemies. So that's interesting. That could come into play for things like retaliate and all of that, where it is separate attacks on different enemies and not one attack. All right. All right, I'm gonna pop it open here and boom, we've got Wasp. All right, so let's see what's in this Wasp set here. So we've got Wasp first off. Well, let's start with Nadia Van Dyne here. All right, so we've got Nadia Van Dyne, hand size 6, hit points 11. Girl, action, shuffle up to 2 cards with the printed mental resource from your discard pile into your deck, limit once per round. First impression of that power is wow. That could be pretty powerful. It's not a awesome at the start of your game do something, but once you get your deck thinned down, there's a big assumption there that you have good mental resource cards in this deck. But assuming that you do, and you can just take them from your discard pile and put them back into your deck, that seems really powerful, like good deck stacking, potentially close to game breaking, depending upon how it works, type of thing. So we'll see. That could be big. All right. What do we have for the? So Wasp's going to have 3 forms. We have our tiny form Wasp there, which is small but mighty. So hand size 5. So we're kind of following Ant-Man's type thing there. We've got a 6/5 and then probably a 4 hand size. We'll see. She's got 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense, small but mighty response. After Wasp or an event you play, defeats a minion or side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain. Okay, that's cool. It's not an attack. It's just straight up deal damage to the villain. All right, and then we're going to take the card and it folds out. And we've got giant size Wasp. So giant size Wasp is, has a horrible glare there. So there we go. So we've got 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense. So, and they have stars after them that say, threat you remove using your basic thwart power can be divided among schemes as you choose. The damage you deal using your basic attack power can be divided among enemies as you choose. Wow, that seems really powerful. Wow. She's got some really nice, so her Wasp ability seems really good. Her alter ego ability seems really good. Her normal tiny form ability is nice. It's not super powerful, but it's nice. So just looking at the hero card, it looks like she's going to be a pretty powerful one to contend with. We'll see. All right, so now let's go through the cards that make up the deck. So we're in her basic cards here. We've got Ant-Man, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. He's an Avenger. When you're a giant hero form, Ant-Man gains a giant trait, gets 1 attack, and then tiny hero form gets tiny trait and gets +1 thwart. Okay, so he's okay. Kind of like him. And then we've got giant help. So 2, and then it's an event. Hero action thwart, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Remove a total of 4 threat divided among schemes as you choose if you're in giant form. Okay, so you have a take away 2 in either form, or take away 3 in either form, but then 4, and you can divide it as you want when you're big sized. So that's pretty good. That's a 2 for 4, potentially a 2 for 3. That's a nice card. All right, Pinpoint Strike. 3, an event. Oh, I guess the other thing is we should probably pay attention to which ones are mental. So that's a mental one. With her ability to shuffle things back in, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of mental resource cards. All right, so we've got Pinpoint Strike. Hero action, deal 7 damage to an enemy. 7 for 3. Wow. If you're in tiny hero form, this attack deals 1 additional damage to that enemy and gains overkill. So in tiny form, it's a 3 for 8 with overkill. And in your other hero form, and oh, that's interesting, in large form you do less damage, but in tiny form you do a ton of damage. Well, not a ton, 1 more, and it's overkill. Interesting. All right. That's a nice card, I gotta say. 3 for 7, potentially 8 with overkill is a nice card. And there's 3 of them in there, and they're mental resource, and you could potentially shuffle them back into your deck. Yikes. All right, Rapid Growth. Hero Interrupt. When you use one of your hero's basic powers, change to your giant hero form and get +2 to the power for that use. For this use. So let's see here. When you use one of your hero's basic powers, change to your giant hero form. So I guess you would have to be tiny. You go to thwart or attack, and then you get huge real fast and do it even more powerful. Okay. It costs 1 to do that, so that's pretty cool. Now we're over to Wasp Sting, which is another mental. So we got 2 for an event, hero action, attack. If you're in giant hero form, deal 4 damage divided among enemies as you choose. If you're in tiny hero form, deal 5 damage to an enemy. So again, 2 for 5 or 2 for 4 there, divided as you would like to do it. And it's a mental. So we've got 2 of those in there. Wow, she's looking fairly aggressive, which is kind of cool. So Pym's Particles, which are, I kind of expected to be in there. What else do we have here? We've got Red Room Training. While you are giant hero form, you gain Retaliate 1. So this is an upgrade that's going to sit out there. When you are in tiny hero form, your basic attack gains Piercing. Ooh, that's nice. All right. And we have Biosynthetic Wings, which is an upgrade, so it'll sit out there. It's going to give her Aerial. And then Interrupt, when you would take any amount of damage, if you're in tiny hero form, exhaust Biosynthetic Wings and prevent 1 of that damage. Nice. Okay. A little bit of tiny damage mitigation. And we've got Wasp's Helmet. Giant hero form, +1 thwart, tiny hero form, +1 attack. So not as awesome as Ant-Man's helmet, but still pretty decent. For a cost of 2, that's not too bad. Plus it's a persistent card you're going to put out there and get out of your hand. Ooh, Thor. Okay, so we're into aggression cards now. So you've got Jane Foster Thor. I was looking forward to this card. I figured they would go there at some point in time. So you've got 1 thwart, 2 attack. After you play Thor from your hand, deal 2 damage to the villain, 3 if you paid for this using a physical resource. All right, I like that. 4 cost and 4 health is pretty good, and then the 2 attack, pretty nice. All right, so then we've got Wasp, the Janet Van Dyne Wasp, which says Wasp gets +1 point for each Pym counter on here. When Wasp enters play, place 1 Pym counter on here to a maximum of 3 for each energy resource you overpaid for Wasp's cost. So that's an interesting twist on the other Ant-Man, right? Because Ant-Man you can overpay and that adds, but this one it has to be energy resources. But she attacks for 3, which is massive. So in, oh, I was going to say, and there's some other decks, but I don't know that there are aggression decks based around having a lot of energy. Ooh, in a Thor deck, yeah, that's looking pretty nice. So I don't know how well she'll do in this deck, which seems to be mainly based around mental, but she is a mental resource to play her, so it's easy to dig her back into your deck after she's been used. So I don't know. Interesting card. All right, into the fray. Hero action. Deal 6 damage to a minion. For each point of excess damage dealt by this attack, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. All right, this is a very aggressive Wasp deck there. Well, I guess it's got aggression as its main aspect. And I like the aggression aspect, so this deck is looking like a lot of fun to me. All right. And actually, there's a decent amount of threat mitigation that we're seeing already there. Okay, surprise attack. Cost 1 is an event. Hero response. After you change form, deal 3 damage to an enemy, 4 damage if you paid for this card using a physical resource. All right, so you're going to have to change form. So the nice thing about Wasp and Ant-Man is you can do that because you go from hero form to hero form. It's going to be a little bit less useful, I think, for other characters unless you have ones that like to change form a lot. All right, so we got surprise attack. There's 2, 3 surprise attacks. Got a couple of power aggressions, I'm assuming. 1, 2. Yep. All right, boot camp, which is a support card. All right, play under any player's control, max 1 per player. Each ally you control gets +1 attack. Hey, look at that. We're doing kind of leadership stuff for the aggression deck. I like it. All right, I like pumping up allies, finally. That's cool. I like these other aspects getting some more stuff to do with allies. All right, lie in wait. So you have Moon Knight sitting up there on a branch, max 1 per player. So it's an upgrade. It's going to sit out there. Hero response attack. After a minion engages you, discard lie in wait. Deal 3 damage to that minion. I like that. So you're going to pop it, and so it's after they engage you, you're going to do 3 damage to them. Wow. Okay. That's a 1-cost prep card. Oh, that's more toys for Black Widow, I think, there. It's a nice card by itself, I think, just to have it sitting out there, especially in minion-heavy encounters. But I think it's going to be really good with Widow. All right, then we've got Ironheart. After you play Ironheart from your hand, draw a card. So she's pretty cheap. She's a champion, so kind of got a different set of characters going on there. 2 cost, basic ally. It's always fun to have more basic allies out there. Miles Morales Spider-Man. So after you play Spider-Man from your hand, choose thwart or attack. Spider-Man gets +2 to the chosen power until the end of phase. Nice. So you're going to drop him out there, and he's going to get a big boost the first round and then be okay after that. So 3 cost. He's got 2 attack and 3 health. He's not bad, and then he's going to get that little boost right as he comes out. So we've got Swarm Tactics. So there's our team up. Change to other hero form, ready your hero. We've seen that action already. All right, then we got probably our standard energy, our genius, our strength. All right, what's this one? Power in all of us. So we've got max 2 per deck, double the number of resources this card generates when paying for a basic card. Oh, that's interesting. So this is like our power of aggression only for basic cards. So I know a few folks out there that like playing the all basic deck. So there we go. It's a card specifically for them. So it will be interesting to see how much use that gets in general decks. Now the good part about it is a wild resource, so it can be used for anything. And then double on basics. So interesting. We'll see how much common play that gets, or if it's really just a niche card for people that are playing all basic decks. All right, you got your Quinn Carrier. Red Dream. So there's our obligation. Let's get these cards out of the way. All right. Red Dreams. Yeah, give to the Nadia Van Dyne player. You may flip to alter ego form. Exhaust Nadia Van Dyne. It goes away. Discard each card with a printed mental resource from your hand and take 1 damage. And discard this obligation. Ooh, okay. So she does a lot of nice stuff with mental resources, but that card is going to really hose you for having a lot of mental resources. So I think that is totally appropriate. Like, it's a good counter to what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So I like that obligation. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got for our Nemesis stuff. So Mother's Orders. Mother has sent one of her most devious henchmen after Wasp, hoping to recapture the Red Room escapee. As an additional cost, for each hero to make a basic attack, that hero must spend 1 of any resource. Interesting. So that seems pretty small, but that's actually, to me, is fairly significant. Like, you're going to have to waste a card in order to just do a basic attack. So I like it. Plus, it's a 3 boost. So, all right, what else do we have here? We've got Beetle. All right, so Beetle's got guard. 1 scheme, 1 attack, which doesn't look too bad. So what's her thing there? Force interrupt. When Beetle is defeated, choose to either spend a physical resource or shuffle Beetle into the encounter deck. Okay, that's a nice, because we didn't see a whole lot of physical resources there. So she's probably going to get shuffled back into the deck a lot. So that can be good or bad, actually, because she doesn't look like she's all that tough. She does have guard, which is annoying, and 4 health, which is annoying. So doesn't have a whole lot of effects out of other than that. So I see high annoyance factor with that card. Not necessarily breaking the game kind of stuff, but she's going to absorb lots of hits. All right, what do we have there? We got Beetle's armor attached to Beetle if able. Attached character gets +4 hit points. Oof. Ouch. Beetle Mania. Alter Ego, it's going to surge. Hero, Beetle attacks you with +1 attack. If no attack was made this way, the card gains surge. All right. Got a couple of those in there. And then we're out of the Wasp deck and we're into the regular cards. So let's see what we've got here. So we've got Running Interference, which is a Tombstone card, right? So I think we've seen that on the villain sides, and we have Running Interference on the good side. So we've got play only if your identity has the Avenger trait, which is not too difficult right now. Remove 2 threat from the main scheme. Remove X additional threat from the main scheme to a maximum of 3, where X is equal to the villain's stage number. Okay. That's pretty cool. That's nice for some things to scale as you play higher difficulty. Like that. So we've got some Justice Running Interference. So this is going to be the theme for this set of cards. Got All for 1. Deal 3 damage to an enemy and exhaust any number of Avenger characters you control. Deal 1 additional damage to the enemy for each character exhausted this way. Exhaust any number of Avenger characters you control. Okay. Now, I guess the thing there is if you're using allies, then you can not take consequential damage by doing that and be able to ready them up the next turn. So that's kind of cool. There's probably ways to, or if you have somebody like Stinger out there or some of the low-cost allies, with low health, this is a good way to make additional use of them without wearing them out so fast. So I can see that. That's pretty nice. All right. And the other thing I was double checking was it's 3 damage to an enemy. It's an attack. And then 1 additional damage to that enemy. So it's got to be the enemy that you attack with this. Okay. All right. Just want to double check you couldn't tap the 1 damage all around the board add to be to that 1 enemy. All right. Perseverance, which is a tactic. So hero response, after you change form, give your hero a tough status card. What do I think about that one? That seems pretty nice. It's fairly cheap. That's gonna cost one. You play it during your turn. I think that's an all right card. I'm trying to figure out in which situations you would use it a lot. It's kind of interesting. I don't know right now. Jury's out on that one. Toughness is awfully good to have, but having to change form in order to do it. So it's going to make a big difference whether you're playing, like if you're playing, I think, Ant-Man or Wasp here, that's changing form hero to hero that makes that a lot easier to play. Whereas you kind of reserve that a little bit more, I think, in the other heroes. I don't know. All right, athletic conditioning. So discard one stun or confused status card from your hero. Wow! It only costs one. I like that one. That seems amazing. So I guess the thing that I ran into playing the Hulk deck or even playing Thor sometimes was you would have issues with the fact that, especially in the Hulk deck, if you were stunned for that round, it made it really hard to do anything like getting that attack off or, just being able to get rid of that seems like a massive boost. Now, it is going to cost you potentially a card to play this, and then you play this, but getting that out of the way instead of having to waste your basic attack on getting rid of that stun, I like this card. I think it's going to be useful in a lot of decks that have had a problem with that inability to get rid of status cards very easily. So I can see that card going into a decent number of decks. So cool. I like it. All right. That looks like everything that's in the Wasp deck. So initial thoughts are, as far as an aggression hero, to me, Wasp is looking really powerful. I think she's going to be a lot of fun to play with. Now, I don't know that she's going to have the versatility that Ant-Man does. And also they're packaging her with a pretty, it seems like a pretty aggressive aggression deck. So I'm really excited to play her because I like playing aggression and I like kind of like that go after it, get her done kind of thing. And it looks like Nadia is going to be very much a get her done type of thing. So lots of attack in there, lots of damage. Not as much finagling. We do see a little bit of threat mitigation in there, which is nice to see in combination with all of the attacking that's in there. So we'll see how it works out. Anyway, really excited about Wasp and what she seems to bring to the package. And there's some nice cards in there to be used, I think, with other decks. So let me know what you think. What are the power cards in Wasp? Is she not all that awesome? Is going all mental resources a viable thing? I don't know. What's your opinions? Let me know in the comments. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.